Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zeroy. I am, of course, joined this time by our resident Protoss professional player, Molten.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to cast Razer against Eiger.
Yes, our TVP. I think this will be the second Terran game we've cast. First time we've cast Razer. So quite exciting for myself to see this as well.
Yeah, Razer, obviously the best Terran here.
Yeah, absolutely. Best Terran here, although saying that, he's been upset a couple of times already this tournament. You've seen him drop a map against Frogs.
Yep.
I think, didn't he drop a map against someone else?
Against Wiseman,
Against Wiseman of all people as well.
That is a massive surprise. I don't know what happened in those games.
No.
I spoke briefly to Razer about it, and he said some cheesy stuff occurred.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
And he didn't sound very happy about it.
No, no. I mean, Razer, you know, his form, if he loses maps to players like that, it makes you question his form. Obviously, being Seed 3, he's going to get out of his group, probably in first place still. But obviously looking at the bracket now in the future, certainly tomorrow, we'll have to see how he progresses.
Yeah, I know. It's really interesting. This is a tough test. Eiger's very good.
Yes.
But also, Eiger's been dropping maps today. He lost 2-0 to AC, who's a good player, don't get me wrong. But Eiger, what seed is he in this tournament? 5?
I think
7?
So he was the second best player in his group according to the seedings.
Okay, so somewhere between 5 and 8.
Yeah, so we were saying, let's say Eiger beats Razer.
Yep.
Okay. Razer beats AC. AC beats Eiger. We end up with a three-way tie potentially. Going only to map score to decide who progresses in what.
And Razer's map score is not too hot.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If Eiger beats Razer, we could genuinely see Razer progress in third place in this group.
That would be absolutely crazy, but I do think this is going to be quite simple for Razer. I think he's... Yeah, I don't see him dropping any more maps.
All right.
I think he's going to... You know, that thing when you're playing FIFA and you lean in, you're like, I'm playing seriously now. Yeah. I think that's what Razer's going to do.
Yeah,
you know?
You think he's warmed up now? He's going to go? Okay,
I expect him to be at his very best here.
All right. The players are in game. I've just let them know that we are ready.
Is Razer playing under an account named Volticus?
Confusingly, yes. Razer is playing under an account called Volticus, who's another player in this tournament.
Okay.
So always remember, it's not Volticus, it's Razer.
I see it says next game, Molten versus Red Dane. Is that actually a thing?
That's not happening, unfortunately.
That's not happening.
No. I think we'll cast this game, and then hopefully most of the group stage games will be finished. We can then start to look to go to the group stage then, the elimination stage even. Yes,
okay.
All right, so we are in game, and let's introduce the players. Spawning in the top left, the orange Protoss player, it is Eiger.
And in the southeast, in the red, playing Terran for Red Dragons, possibly? It's RazerBlader or Razer, as he's now known. I don't know if he's on a team at the moment, actually. It's definitely not Volticus, that's all you need to know.
And he's not playing under Red Dragons on this account, at least. Cool, let's take a seat. Let's sit down.
Go on then, treat ourselves.
There's so many cables under this desk. I'm really paranoid I'm going to unplug something and then my PC will just switch off.
That would be a bit of a disaster. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Cool. So what do we see here so far then? Pretty straightforward, just racks, gas. We're going to see Reaper Fast expand out of Razer. And again, pretty standard so far out of Eiger.
Yeah, I'd expect in this series Eiger to be the one to try something cheeky to try and mix it up. Razer is obviously several hundred MMR above him. But that's not so easy against Terran. It's very easy for Terran to be defensive against Protoss.
Yeah. I'm curious to know why Eiger's choosing not to send out a probe scout. Obviously, playing against a standard Protoss play, you'd expect to see a very quick probe scout.
Yeah, normally you would send that probe that builds the gateway out to scout, but he hasn't done that. Are we going to see it after the cyber core, or is he just going to expand? I kind of like it though, because Razer's not really the type of guy who's going to proxy some racks, maybe do a Marauder rush or something crazy. So you may as well just take the small economic lead when you can get it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I mean, I have seen Razer proxy in the past, but only when he feels like he's the worst player. Certainly when he feels like he's the best player, there's no need to do any of that stuff. So Eiger getting the small advantages where he can.
Okay, and he is going to check around for a proxy here, it looks like, with that probe. Not going to be able to find anything.
Scout coming out of...
Whoa, a Zealot.
Razer, yeah. I saw him start the Zealot, and I was wondering if he was going to start it in case there's an eBay and then cancel it, and then build an Nexus. But instead he lets it finish.
I wonder if he meant to let it finish. Presumably he did.
Yeah.
Eiger's
I mean, he
hoped too good to accidentally build a Zealot, you know?
Yeah, in fairness, Eiger went Cyber before Nexus, and he's chronoing out this Adept, so it looks like he's just going to try to go across the map, see what damage he can get done, potentially pause the building of the CC, but it looks like Razer will have enough here to defend.
Well, there's no Reaper in this game, so that Zealot is actually a bit of a threat, and we see 2 SCVs pulled, but this is not a good situation for Razer at all, who is 3-raxing. He needs to make sure that this 3-rax isn't scouted by Eiger, and he does a good job, and he'll be able to get the Zealot without losing anything.
This Zealot's going to die, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trapped.
But that's okay. You kind of expect the Zealot to die. Obviously, you would have liked to get some damage with it, but Razer's micro was pretty good here. Oh, and the Adept really can't lose that Adept, and it does go down to the 3 Marines. That was a bit lazy by Eiger, and he didn't get any additional scouting information either. And 3-rax is one hell of a build.
Yes, yeah. DPS from Marines is too good. Look, that Marine survived on 1 HP.
Must be nice.
And look, Razer didn't lose anything there, and yet Eiger just lost 2 units. And in order to get the units across the map, he actually went the Cyber before Nexus. So although he didn't probe scouts, so he quote-unquote greed, he was trying to be a bit aggressive with those, but didn't get anything done.
He is going to have an Oracle coming across the map, so he will be able to scout the 3-rax. I'm really interested to see what Eiger's response is here, because he's not going to be able to get across that in time. This attack from Razer is going to hit in about a minute, and it's going to have stim and combat shields, and it's going to be a lot of bio. And these pushes are really hard to hold if you're not really almost over-prepared for them.
The Marines are already there in the main base for the Oracle. Of course, Oracle's now 3-shot SCVs, so Eiger needs to really work to get any kind of damage done. He only gets 2 SCV kills, so very good defense there by Razer. And it looks like Razer's just biding his time, waiting for his upgrades to come in. And then as soon as they do finish, Eiger needs to be prepared.
Yeah.
He's building sentries now, building an Immortal as well. Do you think we'll see a second battery, or is that overkill?
I think if Eiger sees Razer move out, yes, but I think Razer might now just not move out, knowing that Eiger scouted it. The Oracle is going to get a bit ambitious here and go for the Marines, and he missed micros.
It turns back in and it cost its life.
Hello, Eiger, are we awake today, buddy? What are we doing there?
But now that the Oracle's down, I mean, Razer can just, I need to call him Volticus. Razer could just step out onto the map for free.
Okay, well the probe was actually sent out just to see if the push was coming, and now the push is coming. Does Eiger have enough? He can warp in another sentry and force field that ramp if he so wishes.
Because Eiger has no map presence, he simply cannot take a third base. So he has to turtle up, and yet Razer can just round out his tech. He's getting this factory, and he can look to get his own third base himself at some point in the near future.
SCV was sent up there just to check if the stim will
stims
work,
preemptively,
and Razer thinks
jumps
it will.
on top of the Immortal, that goes down. He jumps on top of the shield battery now, that goes down as well. Too much DPS, GG is called. Eiger just could not stop those bio units stepping up and just destroying everything.
That was a disaster from start to finish for Eiger. Everything he did went wrong. He lost the Zealot without doing any damage, he lost the Adept without doing any damage, he lost the Oracle to the Marines. It was a disaster, simply put.
I mean, everything that could have gone well for Razer went well. You could put it that way.
I think Razer will be... wasn't expecting it to be that easy. I think the next game, Eiger will be on top of it a bit more, and we'll get a better game for sure.
Yeah.
We can hope, at least.
Do you think do you think Eiger will go for the same sort of style of Cyber before Nexus, make a Zealot and send that across the map? Or because he got shot down so hard, do you think he'll just stop that entirely?
I assume that's what he's comfortable with, so I do expect to see the Stargate opening at least. The Zealot, maybe not. It did seem that Razer was on top of that Zealot denial, really.
Yeah. Because Razer went for Marine, then Reactor, the Marines finish quicker, so you get your Reactor quicker, you get your second, third Marine quicker, and you just have more units to defend against that sort of, annoying little Adept push. So yeah, well done by Razer on that one. We're just waiting for the players to create the lobby on the next one. Babylon is the next map.
All right.
What are your thoughts on this one?
So another relatively short map in terms of the map pool, so we could see 3-rax from Razer again, but I think Razer likes to mix it up. I don't think he'll do the same build twice in a row.
Yeah.
Especially against a player worse, like he'd like to practice, like just warm up his other builds, you know.
So if not 3 racks, are you expecting like a 1-1-1 type setup?
Yeah, just a simple Widowmine drop. I think I have seen him do Hellion drops before.
Okay, yeah. Oh, we'll have to see.
Although against Stargate opening, maybe you don't want to do that in case they go Phoenix. But
in fairness, I mean, Eiger went Oracle. It's likely that if he's going to go Stargate, I wouldn't expect him to suddenly change up to go into Phoenix, personally. Okay, so we are in game.
All right then.
Spawning in the top left, we have the orange Protoss player. It is Eiger.
And in the in the southeast of Babylon, in the red, playing Terran, it's Razer.
All right. Same as before, it looks like. I wouldn't expect Eiger to go wild and do a proxy gate. And it looks like he's chosen not to do that at all. Again, no scout after pylon, so he's going to try to get all those minerals that he can for that earlier gates, Cyber and Nexus. Razer going for his racks, and he'll likely go for his gas. There it is. It's almost like I've played this game before.
So we do see a probe moving out on the map now, but again it's just checking for proxies.
Yeah.
Seems that Eiger's content just checking for proxies and not probe scouting across the whole length of the map.
The opportunity cost is essentially nil, and yet if it does find something, then it
could be huge.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like a why not, even though it is unlikely for Razer to proxy, something like this. And
I mean, also if there's other Terran players watching this, and then they're going to play against Eiger later in the tournament, they're going to be less likely to want to proxy if they see that Eiger's actively scouting for proxies every map.
In fairness, I'm not sure. What other Terrans are there in the tournament? I mean, Mix is random.
That's a good point.
There's Volticus. The real Volticus, I mean. Yeah, it's literally that.
Volticus and Magico.
That is it.
That is it. Yeah.
We're missing Gamer Richie, man.
We are. Richie, I know you're in Twitch chat. Get over here.
So it looks like that's the Nexus before Cyber. Am I wrong? Is that?
You're right.
Yeah.
Which is pretty little weird.
Again, I think it goes back to the fact that Razer really did shut down that Zealot adept so well. Yeah. That I just thought, well, you know, there's no point in doing it. So I'll just go for the Nexus first. Reaper is out. So again, a bit of a change out here for Razer. Goes to the Reaper. The probe sees it, sees the expansion as well. And the probe will die, but it does see the expansion. That's all it needs. You see the factory out of Razer, so you were right. He is going to change it up and go for that presumably 1-1-1 style. Yep. We'll have to see if it progresses into the Widowmine or the Hellion variation.
I think it will be Widowmines because it's so far away from the reactor on the barracks that you're not going to want to switch over and start producing 2 Hellions at once. Could you see like a 1 Hellion at a time type production, and then he goes in with like 2 Hellions and 4 Marines? There is some builds where you make 2 Reapers and a Hellion, but other than that, no. 1 Hellion is kind of useless by itself, right? Yeah. So I really think it'll be Widowmines. I don't know if Eiger thought this was a full wall off or or not. But finds out the hard way. Fortunately, his Adept wasn't too far away. No, not at all. Blink on the way. I mean, the Stalker's going to finish now as well, so that will defend this area quite nicely. Perhaps in the future, Eiger might want to wall that off, but this Adept is going to shade across the map. Try to find the Reaper. Does end up seeing it. Gets some pot damage onto it, but not too much more. I think this Adept is just here to once again shade every so often up into here just to see what's going on. How many gateways is Eiger on right now? Because he's getting blinked. He's only got one gate at the moment. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's going to be particularly committed. Surely we'll see a second and a third go down before a third base. It's actually a Robo coming down, so just 1 gate blink at the moment. This is interesting. 3 gate blink Robo is quite a popular opening. Yes, yeah. I mean, I understand that you can go 2 gates if you want to take an earlier third base. Whereas if it's 3 gates, or certainly if it's 4 gates, you want to be doing a lot of damage. Well, Eiger thinks you can just go 1 gate, so more power to him. There is, that third base is pretty greedy. It's quite early. And off just 1 gate, if Razer was planning something mischievous here, Eiger would be in a lot of trouble. Like, if this was a 3-axe, Eiger would be straight up dead. In fairness, I mean, Eiger sees everything. But then again, so did Razer. Razer sees the third base go down, and now this Adept sees this medevac, and you can sort of intuit that there are Widowmines in here. Obviously, we have perfect information, so it's easy for me to say. This Adept is going to get caught up with these Marines, so, you know,
Unfortunate loss there for Eiger, but not the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, just scouting the Widow Mine drop is just so nice, especially when you already have Blink. It's going to make that really difficult for Razer to get damage done with the Widow Mine drop now.
Now you can just see Eiger rounding off his tech. He's got a Forge. He's making 3 more gates now. So going up to 4 gates there for the Blink Stalkers for the defense of this drop. Razer needs to be careful because if he just sees this and boosts in, Eiger can easily just blink underneath Medevac and 2-shot it.
Oh, those Stalkers are in the main base, still a little far away from where this Medevac's going to be yeeting in, but the question is Eiger paying attention?
Yes,
he is. Blinks on the Medevac immediately.
He's still forced to pull all these probes away, but Razer being very nice there with the Medevac, keeping it alive, and also saving one of those Widow Mines for later.
Yeah, it's just so annoying to have the threat there. It's just something that Eiger's constantly going to have to think about. Even if it is only one Widow Mine, that can kill a lot of probes by itself.
It looks like Eiger's sending these Stalkers down away from the main base, but the Medevac is still there, so it looks like Eiger doesn't really care about the Medevac.
Yeah, Eiger wasn't producing probes there for a bit. I actually thought he was going to all in as he started building 4 gates, but he has started building probes again now. But I feel like he should be much further ahead probe-wise than he currently is, considering the timing of this 3rd base. Wow, we even see Razer scan. That's a very odd thing to do.
I've just noticed that on this base. Oh, sorry, there are 2 gas guys. I thought there was only 1 gas guy, so I was like, what? But I guess that's what Razer is scanning for, right? He sees there's only 1 gas taken on the natural, and there are extra gateways. So he knows, well, he should know at least, that having seen the Stalkers blink, charge will be the follow-up. Yeah, that's the most standard thing to do.
And we see Razer still on 2 base, so I think he's just going to 2 base push here, and I reckon he'll take a 3rd behind it, but it will be a committed push. And looking at the army supply, I don't think Eiger's a hope in hell of holding it. Yeah,
you don't think he's got hope in hell, did you say?
No.
Even, let's say, this Twilight Council finishes, Eiger starts to warp in lots more units for these gateways that are now finishing up. Do you not think he can still hold
this location? He does have a lot
of
gateways. No, I think the army of Razer is going to be too strong. He's going to have +1 as well. Okay, +1 armor is done for Eiger.
Yeah. We do see now the upgrades lining up very nicely here for the Terran player. I guess with the Raven here, if he can get a decent armor-shredding missile onto the Zealots, then that'll be a real problem for Eiger. But this push is very scary. There's a lot of bio here that is well upgraded, and it's just marching across the map.
It is very all-in though. If Eiger can hold, he'll be in a great position.
I mean, there is a 3rd base behind it though, so there is a backup option here for Razer, so long as he deals some economic damage.
Yeah, it definitely needs to get some damage done at least.
So again, we see the bio stem up, but he's cut the 3rd base from the 2nd.
Yeah.
So this is a really dangerous position here. This High Templar was not long for this world. Yeah. But now that Razer has this position, this army can't really engage. At the same time, the army to the north is taking out so many probes. The tank gets cleaned up. This army gets cleaned up. But again, the economic damage is pretty nice here for Razer, I would say. But is it enough?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was kind of a weird attack. He split off a lot of bio into the natural, but it is trading out really well. Gets a lot of Zealots and 8 probes. I'd say all things considered, it's pretty good for Razer. We see even more units in the 3rd here. Just a couple Marines and a Marauder getting so many more probes.
Yeah, and if you look at the worker count now, Razer has jumped ahead in the worker supply. So clearly this was good economic damage. And, taking out some of those expensive units, like the High Templar and even the Stalkers, which are quite gas-intensive, I think that was still good for Razer in the end.
Yeah, it is still good for Razer. He's about to be at 3 orbital commands, and when you're a Terran on 3 orbitals ahead in worker supply, that's really good for your economy. Zealot run by here, it's shut down by Razer.
Absolutely. Again, what do you do here as Eiger then? Do you just keep calm, keep probing, and keep getting your upgrades? Is that the game plan?
Personally, I want to see some tech. He doesn't have double forward. Auto turret.
Auto turret kills the High Templar. It looked like the turret actually trapped the High Templar in there, so it couldn't even escape.
That's nice.
Yeah, you got a feedback on the Raven at least, but I mean, the Raven's still alive, and that's going to accrue energy over time. So, again, more harassment opportunity later in the game.
Yeah, Eiger's in a tough spot. He consistently wants to be building probes, but he also needs to tech, and we do see the Robo Bay go down, so he's actually just not going to bother with Storm in this game. And I don't blame him, because Ghosts probably aren't that far out for Razer. In fact, we see the Ghost Academy halfway done.
Yep, absolutely. But again, I guess Razer's just keeping calm as well. He knows he's economically ahead, so he may as well slowly build up a higher and higher army supply, and then move out when the I don't know, when the Ghost Academy finishes.
Well, I like that Eiger's going for the RazerBlader because Razer's building a lot of Widow Mines. He really has a lot out, and he's still building more. And Colossus and Disruptors do not care about Widow Mines, to be honest. But the supply is the issue right now, and Eiger is just too far behind, I think.
I wonder if the Widow Mine or heavy Widow Mine response is simply Razer seeing the fact that Eiger is so intense on these chargelets. But at the same time, you know,
yeah,
totally right. There are no Vikings, so many Widow Mines. If Eiger gets to, say, 3-4 Colossus...
Oh, then he has a chance for sure, but I don't think Razer's going to let him. He's going to be maxing out soon, and surely he will then push across the map.
I guess, you know, although Ghosts don't necessarily deal damage to Colossus in the same way that Vikings do, even with the EMPs, it's not a bad unit at all to have to round out your bio composition.
Yeah.
We do see Eiger now with his 4th base set up, but he needs to defend it.
He doesn't have the probes for 4 bases either just yet.
No, it looks like he's actually paused probe production. Oh no, sorry, he's building 3 at a time, excuse me. But yeah, we do see Razer moving across the map, and Eiger's positioning to try to defend this 4th base from the northeast. But Razer, which way will he go? He could have just dived to the bottom there, but you know, how is he supposed to know that the army's up here? The Ghost gets a nice EMP on the chargelets and even touches some of the Archons.
Oh my goodness.
He's going for the Doom drop. Outmaneuvered, some might say.
Oh, and the RazerBlader here, and that Colossus does not want to walk up that cliff.
Marauders do so to nearly kill it actually, but you know, now that all this bio's just been completely unloaded in the main base, I don't know how Eiger actually holds this.
Forge goes down, Robo goes down as well, and Eiger's going to try push in. The Widow Mines fire.
So much damage to all of those chargelets. It looks like this might eventually get cleaned up, but the DPS in this bio army is so strong. The Colossus goes down.
Good sight.
Yeah, and now look, the bio's still alive. He did warp in some chargelets there just to clean up, but I mean that was so expensive. Razer takes a huge supply lead, and now he's just going to jump down into the 3rd base. He's got some reinforcements in the 4th as well, killing all of these probes. The Stalker's going to get a nice pick off on these medevacs, but I don't think Razer even cares. He's just so far ahead in terms of economy now that even these Widow Mines just picking off bits here and there.
Yeah, once again, Razer doesn't quite kill Eiger, but he gets enough damage done to put himself comfortably ahead. Eiger does have a big bank. If he can spend his bank, he might not actually be that far behind. The issue is he lost his Robo.
The issue is, yeah, you're totally right. The issue is that he's lost his Robo, he's lost a lot of gateways as well, he lost his Twilight Council.
Yep.
So he's still losing probes as well to those Widow Mines.
So he can't even research +2 or +3.
No.
From his non-existent Forge, because he lost that as well.
Yes, yeah. So Razer's now going to take an upgrade advantage as well. Everything's just going in Razer's favour. This is absolutely Razer's game to lose.
Yeah, Razer's played this series really well so far.
Yeah. I mean, knowing that he's done enough damage, I guess he's just content to sit back on his 4 bases, laugh at this army and just say, you know what, screw your shields, I'm going to EMP everything.
Once again.
And the armor-shooting missile as well, just for the BM. Razer steps up, rinses this army. He's going to get the Archon as well. That goes down. What an expensive pick-off. Some charges here are going to get cleaned up eventually as well. But Eiger's in full retreat now. Razer could just go all the way, I reckon. I think once Razer sees this, and he knows he's so far ahead, he could just say, you know what, I'm going to just walk across the map now.
Planetary Fortress finishes, will clean up those Zealots. Eiger's army is just Zealot Stalkers, and it's not particularly well upgraded. In fact, he's down 1 upgrade now. And I think we are seeing the beginning of the end as Razer pushes into Eiger's 4th, and he'll be able to take that out.
Yep. Loses the Raven, but that's not even a problem. He's going to kill the base. Actually, the Liberators get picked off very quickly. There are no Widow Mines in the front to tank these, to get rid of these chargelets. But once the charges are on cooldown, the bio kites back, gets rid of them, kills the pace, pounces on the Colossus. GG. Very comfortable 2-0 win there for Razer.
Yeah, that was absolutely dominant from start of game 1 to the end of game 2. Razer always looked in control. And that's what we're used to seeing from Razer at Epic Land. He's a very, very good macro player.
Seeing Razer like that makes you just wonder, what on earth happened in those games where he dropped a map?
I might ask for the replays of those games because I don't know what happened.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, in fairness, if it is right that he lost those maps to cheesy things out of the Zergs, and yet Eiger chose not to cheese, then maybe that factors into things.
Zergs are pretty good race, and when they cheese you, sometimes not even Razer can hold.
Absolutely. All right, so we have a bit of an update about the groups. Okay. So for everyone at home, We have missed some of these games because we decided we can only cast so much in a day. We'll choose to watch the games where they'll be very entertaining and very good. Some of the games we've missed, however, have resulted in massive upsets.
We have got some crazy results.
Okay, so let's talk about Group A first. Who's advancing in first place?
I don't know, because it says here,
Yeah.
Risky's 3-3.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what the story behind that is. Do you know?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So, Risky lost 2-0 to Roscoe playing Protoss. Okay, so Risky came into this tournament wanting to play Protoss.
Yeah.
Having lost to Roscoe, he decided he would forfeit the rest of his matches. So we've now ended up with a crazy situation where Roscoe, having beaten Seb 2-0, having beaten Risky 2-0, is going to advance first place in his group as the 9th seed.
Wow, that's insane.
Seb is now going to advance its second in the group, and now it looks like Volt and Countess will be 3rd and 4th.
I think we need to refresh this page, by the way.
Yeah, do we? Let's have a look.
Yep. Okay, some of the other groups changed. Oh, in fact, this one updated as well.
Yeah,
okay. So the only game left in that group is Volt and Roscoe, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, I think that's a formality.
Well, is there now going to be a 3-way tie between Volt, Risky, and Countess for 3rd, 4th, and 5th? What an odd situation.
A weird tie-break situation there.
Okay, but Roscoe and Seb
Yes.
definitely threw us top 2 in that group.
Yes, yeah.
Seb, you would have expected 5th seed coming into the tournament, but
so
he did lose to Roscoe.
Yeah, that's the thing. You'd have expected Seb to go through 2nd, but not
not
in
like
the way
this.
that he's done it.
For sure.
Okay, so let's talk about your group then.
My group.
Okay, so for Jumi, he's 6-0. He has won every game.
12-0.
And he is going first place. Okay. Second.
A little upset here, courtesy of yours truly. I've somehow beaten Figaro 2-0.
There we go.
And that puts me in 2nd place, Figaro 3rd. And Marsbar beat Pigeon Wrench for that 4th place.
There we are.
match.
So Marsbar making it out of the group stage with Molten in 2nd. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Hopefully your bracket looks good.
I don't think it is, and the reason for that is Group C, where AC beat Eiger.
Right,
and
yes,
that means that AC is going to be going through in 2nd, Eiger going through in 3rd, which I think means I play Eiger, which I'm not very happy about. But
I thought you were PvP
maybe I can bribe Gamer Richie or whoever's behind this seeding thing. We'll see. Raza won that group 6-0, but as we said, he did drop a few maps.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so Group C, like you said, we've got Raza 1st, AC 2nd, then Eiger. Frogs in 4th place.
Frogs is always a dark horse. I remember him doing very well last land. He's quite a cheesy. He's an extremely cheesy Zerg. He's always dangerous to play against. Took a map of Raza. Yeah, dangerous.
Okay, so it looks like in Group D, it looks like there's a mistake there because we saw Mix beat Zane, and yet it says here on the website that Zane beat Mix. So we know there's a mix-up there.
I see what you did there.
Hey. Mix is going in 1st place in that group. Zane in 2nd.
And that's a surprise, but maybe not as crazy as the other surprises. Mix plays random, that's always going to make it harder, and his MMR is really not that far behind Zane, I think.
No, not at all. And I guess 4th seed, I'd say 4th through to 8th, so Zane down to Roscoe. All the players within that group MMR range are very close together, and on any given day, they're all capable of winning a best-of-3 series. So, again, although Mix was the 2nd place seed in that group, to see him advance in 1st place isn't as big of an upset as, say, Roscoe advancing in 1st place.
Yeah.
All right.
Looks like Cray and Exo also make it through Group D, which is to be expected. The other 2 seeded players in that group.
Yeah. So it looks like then we have got only a couple of matches left before we finish the group stage, at which point we will be playing the 1st round of the elimination bracket. Of Codes, I should add. So we will hopefully do that as soon as possible. I'll have a word with the admins and see whereabouts we're up to on publishing the elimination stage. So
awesome.
Thanks for joining us on this.
Thank you for having me.
This cast. All right. We'll take a 10-minute break. Yep. And then we'll see you on the other side. Don't go anywhere.